I think I'm going to do this for people, Fletcher. Let's say there's some people out there, you didn't grow up with football. Maybe you're like Fletcher, you're from South America, or you're
You
from a
say it like
home
it's
with.
an insulting thing.
I'm going to explain the rules of football quickly. So I had this idea several years ago that I was going to learn football. My father watches football a lot, religiously almost, you might say. My mom, not as much. My brothers do. Um, so I know a little bit, but I had said to myself, I'm going to get on YouTube and I'm going to learn football. So it's going to be oversimplified. So you real football people, don't come at me. Don't hate me. Okay. I'm doing the best I can. This is just for people who don't know, but want to be a little bit a part of it. Okay. So let me explain the rules of football quickly. There are 11 players on a side, but the key player is the quarterback. He takes the oblong ball at the start of each play, and say he because this is a male sport. Okay, there's no transgender men in American football, professional football that we
That
know
we
of.
know of.
Okay, so he takes the oblong ball at the start of each play, and he either hands it to a player who tries to run with it, or he throws it downfield for a receiver to catch. Okay. Teams have 4 tries, okay, or downs to advance the ball at least 10 yards. That's 9.1 meters. Okay. For those of you who grew up in other countries that don't say yards. Okay. So he has to advance the ball at least 10 yards, 9.1 meters. Okay. The other team will try to stop them from doing so, a process that often ends with one or more players grabbing the player with the ball and hurling him to the ground abruptly. This is what makes it fun, those of you listening. We like the violence of this game. Sometimes a player will do something wrong. That's what you call a penalty. And the referee, that person is the one who makes decisions about the game, will signal this by throwing what looks like a yellow hanky. Okay. The announcers will say that a flag is on the field. Are you guys following me still? All right. The field is 100 yards long. Sometimes you hear people in America refer to something being the length of a football field or the length of 2 football fields. So you get a sense of what it looks like. Fletcher has very handily put up a nice little pictograph, which I really appreciate, to show what the football field looks like, the equipment that's on it, the lines on it, the numbers on it. And that's exactly what it looks like just in miniature. So the field is 100 yards long, and a team making it to the end, the quote end zone, you might hear that word, that phrase, gets 6 points. Okay. A touchdown. Very good. And one more if it can kick a ball through some big metal posts. You see them there. The goal posts. Do you see that? Afterward. Okay. This is very basic. This is all you need, though. There are other ways to score, but I promise to keep it simple. So we're just going to keep it simple. Okay. So you got it. Now, for soccer fans out there, this is not like that. The game cannot end in a tie. That's one thing people don't like about your teams, your whole thing, which Fletcher loves soccer. He wants to call it football. We don't like it playing in a tie.
That's
In
what we
fact,
call it.
Ann Coulter, who is kind of a right wing nut, if you're serious about it, I do respect her. I like her, but she is a nut. She hates soccer. She calls it a communist sport because of the tie. You can have it where nobody wins.
Yeah, but no, but
That
then
that
you
is.
have to go
Oh, here we
to
go. He's gonna
extra
defend it.
time,
Here we go.
and you don't play until you win. All right, I'm just saying. Yeah, you're besmirching the good game.
No, you guys have ties. You end with
Well, we
ties.
do, but there's when it's like a championship game, there is no tie. It's always one winner.
Okay. I never heard that. I thought you guys have ties. Anyway, in American football, that does not end in a tie. The teams always play, quote, overtime. That's what you call it, until a winner is determined. You always do that. So that is the game. Hopefully that makes sense. Now, we talked about this before. Why is it called football? Because it doesn't use the foot that much. Okay. Some people have said it should be called hand egg because it does have. I don't know. Can you get a picture of a football for those who really don't know? I mean,
Okay.
we assume we have people from all over the world listening to us here at Indignant Desert Birds. So we don't want to take anything for granted, including thank you for you seasoned football fans for listening to that long introduction to what football is. I'm sure I'm missing a lot there, but those are some of the basics. There's a lot more to it, of course. If you're interested, there really are some good items on this platform, which is what I started watching to understand plays and different sports. There's also, I'm sure you all know, some wonderful football movies. Please, those who are listening, please tell us your favorite. There's a football, The Hand Egg. What your favorite football movies are. There are a lot of amazing movies about this sport. And honestly, I think one of my favorites is Invincible, which is about the Eagles. But Crimson Tide is one. What about you, Fletcher? You have any favorite football movies?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's Remember the Giants. I think it's pretty good
Oh
with
yeah,
Denzel
Remember the
Washington.
Giants. That's a good one. Yeah, that's a good one. Thank you, Sir Curtis. He says it's a good job on describing American Hand Egg. Love it. Thank you. That's what I'm trying to
Oblong
do.
pigskin.
Oblong pigskin jumping around. Yes, exactly. Yeah, there's some other ones. I mean, there's so many good ones. It's hard to say. I mean, there's one I'm trying to remember now. I'm not sure why it's not coming to me. Remember the Giants.
Yeah.
But there's one I can see the actors, but the name is not coming to me. That's also a really, really good one. But there's tons of them. So anyone
Oh
who's
yeah.
interested in learning about the sport and understanding why people love it, I think watching some of these old movies, but I
The
think
Blind Side is
Invincible
good.
is a wonderful one. Blindside is good too. Oh yeah, my favorite film about it is Blindside is very good. That's a very touching film too. I liked it also. That's a great film. But those who haven't seen Invincible, please watch that. It's also based on a true story like The Blind Side,
Yeah.
and it involves, a really wonderful. I don't want to give it away, but if you want more football after watching, the Super Bowl game today, that's a good one to go through. So American football honestly evolved. It was called kind of rugby football, or it was seen that way in the late 19th century, and then in 1906 teams began passing the ball forward instead of backward. Only it's what they used to do it.
Yeah.
And then the NFL was founded in 1920s, and they started the Super Bowl championship game in 1967. Like we said, we're at 59 right now. And there was another kind of other game. It wasn't NFL. Another institution is called American Football League, AFL. So right now we have the NFL only, but there was an AFL and they merged. But American football is really, really important. I don't know if it is as well watched as your soccer, which you call football. I don't know. Do you think probably more people watch soccer in the world than American football?
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
I mean, there's something also called Canadian football, which is
Yeah,
not
well,
our football.
Canadian.
It's similar to the American game, but it's
But
different.
it's more polite.
It's more of a loser. Yeah, no, I'm sorry. This shows what I'm just mad at Trudeau.
Yes.
But I guess they use a little bit of French because they don't call it a point. They score a rouge. They call it a rouge.
Okay.
And I think Australia has a version also, and it's kind of crazy. First of all, they don't wear as much padding as our people do because they're brutes.
It's more like a rugby.
It's more like a rugby, yeah. And they
Okay.
pass the ball by hitting it with their fists, which is kind of strange.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, that's awesome. Thank you for sharing a lot of that.
Yeah, of course.